Hey guys, Nathan here at the iMakr store in London. You can come into the store for training, support, consumables and all things 3D printing. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to use the Cura slicing engine. Okay guys, so once you open Cura for the first time, this is what it will look like. This is the quick print interface. This interface is useful if you're still new to 3D printing, but the settings are confined to 3 prescribed printing profiles: high quality, normal quality, and fast low quality print. In this video, however, we will be using the full settings. To change the interface to show the full settings, simply click Expert on the menu bar and then select Switch to Full Settings. As you can see, there are far more settings available. I will explain a couple of them to get you started. First of all, the layer height is basically the detail that your model will have. You can change this between 0.25mm for low quality fast prints and 0.06mm for very high quality prints. Next, the fill density is simply the percentage of the internal structure that is solid. The higher this percentage, the longer the print will take and the more solid the model will be. It will use more filament too. Then there is the print speed setting. Generally speaking, faster prints are better suited to low quality draft prints, whereas slower prints will help to increase the quality of prints with lower layer heights. The final setting I will cover is a type of support the model might need. There are 2 main types: support structure, which builds vertically with the model to support parts of a model that might be in open space or have an overhang of more than 60 degrees, and then a brim. This is useful for prints that have a very small footprint when printing and might be prone to breaking off the print bed. These are the main settings that you will be using in your day-to-day printing with Cura. There are a lot more, and to get a full description of what each setting does, just mouse over the input box and Cura will display a yellow information box to tell you what the setting does. To control the viewport, there are a few things to know. To zoom, simply use the mouse wheel if you have a mouse, or the plus and minus keys on the keyboard if you don't have a mouse. To move the camera around the build plate, simply click and hold the right mouse button and then move the mouse or swipe the trackpad in the direction desired. Now, to load a file, simply click the load icon in the top left-hand corner of the viewport and then navigate to the model that you wish to print. These files are typically in the .stl file format. However, there are a couple other file formats that can be used within Cura. Now simply double-click the model to load the file. Cura will now process the file, and once it is finished, will show a digital representation of the model. Every time the user finishes making a change to the model or changes a setting, Cura will begin to prepare the model for printing, and you can see this from the progress bar in the top left-hand corner below the load icon. As you can see in this case, the model is very small and needs to be made bigger for printing. Click on the model and the camera view will automatically zoom to view the model for a better view, and we can also see that the model is not oriented properly. First we will rotate the model so that it is standing on the build plate. This will allow us to print this model without any support structure. To do this, click the rotate icon in the bottom left-hand corner of the viewport. You will notice that 3 rings appear around the model. The green, yellow, and red rings represent the X, Y, and Z planes that you can rotate the model around. In this case, we want to rotate the model about the X axis. To do this, click and hold the green ring, and then move the mouse or trackpad until the model has moved through a rotation of 90 degrees, and then simply release the mouse wheel. To make the model bigger, we can use the scale tool located in the bottom left-hand corner. By default, Cura will scale the model in X, Y, and Z uniformly to keep the proportions of the model consistent, but you can disable this by clicking the little padlock graphic in the Scale menu to scale each axis independently. We will scale this model 30 times. Now that we have the model correctly oriented on the build plate and of a printable size, Cura will slice the file for printing. Slicing is the process of creating a file known as G-code that the printer can understand and use to reproduce the file in printed plastic. Once the G-code finishes slicing, you can see an estimated print time and also the amount of filament required to print the model. To get this to the printer, simply insert an SD card into the machine and make sure that the machine registers the card. Now simply click the Save to Toolpath icon next to the Load icon to save the G-code to the SD card. Now click the Eject button and use your 3D printer to print your sliced file. I hope this video has helped you get started with Cura. Have a good day, guys!